The Mix Mornings and More podcast with Steph.
Now available daily.
Good morning, world. Hello, hello, and welcome to Devil's Night. Is that what we call that still? The night before Halloween. It is October 30th, 2023. It's 5:31, and I'm not going to give myself a buzzer or a ding. I'm just going to let it pass by. You heard nothing. Do you remember Devil's Night, though? Did anybody play pranks in your neighborhood? I remember people's cars getting egged, especially teachers. My mom was a teacher and she was always worried the kids were going to find out her address and then egg our car. I'm not giving you any ideas. I hope all the students are still sleeping. Last night I was doing the dishes when a muffled noise that sounded like someone fell down the stairs hit my ears. Now, this might make sense if we had any stairs, but unless someone fell down the stairs on our deck, I'm just not sure that was it. I called to my husband in the other room watching TV. Are you okay? Yep. He was fine, and no, he didn't hear the noise. I tried to pretend I didn't hear it. You know, it doesn't make logical sense. I'm not opening the door to check. That's how people get murdered. Stayed that way for a few minutes, trying to will the scary noise from my brain before my husband needed something from the kitchen, and he noticed the bag of potatoes that was sitting on the chair, now strewn about the floor, just beyond my view. I'm thankful, but also a little embarrassed. Who knew potatoes could be so scary? What do we think? Snow arrived on Friday and it's still on the ground, albeit less of it. Is it here to stay? I was chatting with a friend the other day who said he wanted snow and lots of it. And I said, hey, it's still October. Calm down. He said cold without snow, that's no fun. And I can see him looking forward to skiing and fat biking and snowshoeing. But I just want a couple more days of running to the recycle bin in my house shoes. Is that too much to ask? My husband was up on the roof putting up the Christmas lights the other day, and naturally, I was on the ground making sure he didn't fall, like a good wife. And he said, there's cat poop up here on our roof. Now, I have a couple questions about this, naturally. Are cats climbing on people's roofs? Honestly, I've never seen one up there. There are two who like to hide under my neighbor's house and dart out to scare us in the dark, but I haven't seen them walking along a fence, let alone on a roof. Okay, next question. Do birds eat cat poo? And I know this sounds disgusting, but I'm trying to find a reason for it being on the roof. And since the things with wings could have taken it up there, I'm having a hard time understanding why they would have it if not to eat it. Unless they're trying to ward off other birds, like, this is my roof, stay away, I've put a stink warning out. Okay, last idea. Are there birds that poop like cats? Like, is there a giant thing with wings just dumping on my roof? Sorry for all the potty talk. I just really want to get to the bottom of this. Call me with your ideas. 780-791-1037. Very sad news coming out of Hollywood this weekend. Matthew Perry has passed away. Now, if the name doesn't mean much to you, you might remember him as one of the 5 cast members on Friends, that very, very funny show from the late 90s, early 2000s. He was Chandler Bing, and he ended up with Monica in the end, if that helps you at all, but that also might give you a spoiler, so sorry about that. It ended 20 years ago. But anyway, unfortunately, he passed away, allegedly drowned in his hot tub. And he put out a memoir last year, and he had a very, very public battle with addictions. And this is what he had to say from his memoir. I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life. I'm still working through it personally. But the best thing about me is that if an alcoholic or drug addict comes up to me and says, will you help me? I will always say, yes, I know how to do that. I will do that for you, even if I can't always do it for myself. So I do that whenever I can, in groups or one-on-one. And I created the Perry House in Malibu, a sober living facility for men. I also wrote my play, The End of Longing, which is a personal message to the world, an exaggerated form of me as a drunk. I had something important to say to people like me, and to people who love people like me. When I die, I know people will talk about friends. Friends. And I'm glad of that. Happy I've done some solid work as an actor, as well as given people multiple chances to make fun of my struggles on the World Wide Web. But when I die, as far as my so-called accomplishments go, it would be nice if friends were listed far behind the things I did to try to help other people. I know it won't happen, but it would be nice. Halloween. Do you usually get dressed up for it? I have this taco costume that I got about 3 Halloweens ago. It was $10 on Marketplace, and I'm not going to lie, I've worn it for 3 Halloweens. Some people go all out, some people go all easy. It's just the way it works. I've been trying to come up with something creative for tomorrow so I don't look recycled. But then again, it is Tuesday, so maybe Taco Tuesday sounds new and fresh anyway. The thing I have in my closet for a last minute costume as well is a yellow and orange color block skirt. Throw on a white top and you've got candy corn. Any other ideas for me? I'm not trying to win a contest, just trying to not be lame. Speaking of going door to door, I'm going to be doing that with the station tomorrow night. We've teamed up with Superior Propane to bring you Trick or Eat, and we'll be knocking on doors in Abbotsford collecting non-perishables for the Wood Buffalo Food Bank. So get ready for us, and if you have something to spare, we'd love to see you. Say hello, and you can judge if my costume is lame or not. I have a new invention idea. Let me set the stage for you. When I got back from Ontario at the beginning of September, my stove was blinking. The power had gone out for some undetermined amount of time. No big deal, set the time. But then when I opened my freezer, the top layer had those ice crystals on it. You know, the kind that says, we started defrosting and then we froze again. And with no way to tell how long the power was off, my husband was terrified of foodborne illness. He hates throwing up. Can you blame him? So I threw out the top layer of food, which was annoying because my New Year's resolution was to eat my freezer, not throw it out. But then last night, I went to make some ribs from that same freezer, and my husband says he's too afraid to eat them. Ribs. Can't convince him to try them no matter how good the slow cooker and homemade barbecue sauce made them smell. My invention idea, a website or an app that you can go back and check how long the power was off for. It could also have helpful tips like, if it was longer than blank amount of time, you should throw out your freezer food. If not, you're safe to enjoy. You know, it would save me a lot of convincing and eating alone, because I'm guessing the next thing I pull out of that freezer is going to be a solo meal as well.
From entertainment to music and anything in between, this is The Buzz.
Brought to you by Foy Medi-Spa.
Miley Cyrus is manifesting a new collaboration, saying, I absolutely love Billie Eilish. She's one of the coolest artists out there at the moment. And what impressed me so much is that she's already an authentic artist. She knows exactly the story she wants to tell and exactly the message she wants to express in her work. And I am in awe of her. Well, hopefully Billie feels the same way about Miley, because I think they'd make some amazing music together. And sad news for so many this weekend. Matthew Perry has passed away. Many stars paid tribute to the Friends actor, including Charlie Puth at his Melbourne concert.
When the rain starts to fall, like I've been there before, 'cause you're there for me. Hey, the boys.
Thanks for all the laughs. Rest in peace. Would you pay extra for an adults-only section on a plane? Right now, a couple airlines are testing out the new offer by cordoning off the adults-only section with a curtain, and they say if it proves successful, they'll install a real wall. Is this something that interests you, or is it insulting / a picture of the intolerance we have for each other these days? Is it different than an adults-only resort? Funny story, my husband and I never pay extra to select our seats, and on a 5-hour flight, we each got the middle seat, one behind the other. He was sandwiched in between a grandma and a mom with twins who were just young enough not to have to pay for the new seat. They continuously passed their kids over top of him, and when he asked if they wanted to switch spots with him, they said no, they had planned it that way and purposely selected these seats. Of course, a lovely flight attendant came by and offered for him to move to another seat, and they got the whole row to themselves. Didn't feel great, but would I pay extra to sit without kids? It certainly wasn't the kids' fault, so I would say no. But how about you? 780-791-1037. Hello and welcome to Devil's Night. Do you remember this designation? I had to look it up and see that it wasn't a Sault Ste. Marie thing, or moreover that it still exists. And apparently it's also known as Mischief Night. Now I don't want to give anyone any ideas, but I know some folks who had their cars egged, which is a terrible thing to do because it doesn't come off the paint, the shells scratch, and with the cold temperature everything freezes, and it's not as easy as just running it through a car wash. But my brother and a friend of his decided to toilet paper their music teacher's car once. They were in high school and the teacher had become a friend, and so they even had a note with a bunch of inside jokes in it ready to go. But a well-meaning neighbor stopped them and promised to call the cops if they didn't leave. The note to an outsider looked nothing like two friends playing a prank, and ultimately the music teacher had to get out of bed to say he in fact knew the pair. A prank gone wrong, but nice of the neighbor to care. Do you ever participate in Mischief Night?
Want more of today's show?
Download the Mixed Mornings and More podcast.
Now available every weekday.